Hello, wonderful people. Welcome back. It's Press Play again. Do I sound like Mr. Rogers?
Is that what
Because I feel like I wasn't going for that, but then as I continued, I was like, why am I breaking everything up and sounding just way too
Oh,
like upbeat?
I was like, why Mr. Rogers? I didn't get that out of it, but now I see what you mean.
Yeah, exactly. But hey everybody out there, welcome back.
I'd like to
Here
think
we go again.
that you're comparable to Mr. Rogers though, with like your
Oh my
the soothingness
goodness.
of your like host
Oh,
tone.
oh my goodness. This
Yeah.
is like I wish I was wearing a sweater. And Keds, white Keds. I don't know if that was the brand he wore, but they were similar to that.
Yeah.
Either way, welcome. Hey, how's it going out there? We're glad you could join us again. This is a very special episode to my heart because I'm so excited to talk about this. But before we get to that, I'm Bailey. Y'all, if you were listening to anything else, you would know that by now. But if not, hey, I'm Bailey. And joining me is Omar Zaki and Matt Austin.
I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to finally talk about this movie that
Yes, dude.
I may or
I
may not.
finally paid attention to this movie.
Yeah, at 28 years old, this may or may not be the first time I've ever watched it properly.
Yeah, no,
Properly.
for real. But before we even reveal what that's going to be, just want to let you guys know that if you want to listen to this on a podcast service and not on YouTube, you can by going to either Spotify, Breaker, Google Podcast, Pocket Casts, and Radio Public. But if you want to follow us on any social medias that aren't Facebook, you can do that at Twitter, at Again Press, and Instagram at Press Play Again. Because we are eventually going to post a bunch of stuff.
I was gonna say, how many tweets?
So,
How many tweets do we have right now?
0, I believe.
Zip.
But we're waiting,
Nilch.
just so y'all know that we're not just like slackers. We're waiting for like a big reveal of a big thing. So it's coming. Join
It's
it,
huge.
follow it, like it, subscribe to everything on YouTube. But if you do that, you'll be the first to see this wonderful little project. It's not really a project. It's a photo shoot
It's art.
of sorts.
It's art.
Art
Guys,
is the best way to put it.
Guys, let's be honest. We're just waiting for one of these episodes to actually be good, and then we're gonna
These
come
have
out.
been all test runs.
Yeah. We're always like, you know
Um,
what? We'll do better next time. We'll get there.
Yeah, so just to let you guys know, this is a very special episode because this is the first time we decided to just spontaneously record a movie that we saw all together in theaters of all places. I know, this is a big deal. Don't worry, we were being safe. But I'm happy to announce to you that we are going to be discussing Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring.
Oh,
And
wrong way.
let me tell you, we saw this spectacular film in IMAX. And oh my God, did it change my life. So glad we did.
I always told everybody my whole life, they're like, watch Lord of the Rings, Matt. And I'm like, I'm waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect time to watch these movies is when I'm finally going to watch them.
He's such a
And
liar.
I'd like to say
You
I
could have
just saw.
never, ever in your fucking life imagined this.
I was gonna say I'd like to
Let's-
see
let's
that I
be
saw
honest.
this whole thing coming. That
I guarantee you one day Omar messaged him and our friends in their little Twitter group and was like, hey, Lord of the Rings is going to be in theaters. Y'all want to go see it? And then Matt was like, yeah.
Literally what
That's
happened.
how
Literally what happened.
guarantee that's how it went.
that's what
Yep.
happened. But I will say that even then I was like, see, I told you I was waiting for the perfect moment, and this is the perfect moment.
That
See,
also happened.
nonetheless, I don't even care because I'm just glad you saw it. And oh my God, was it beautiful? So yeah, I mean, we can give I say we still give our first impressions because I don't really
Yeah, of
know
course.
how Omar, I kind of know how you feel about it, but not really. And Matt, you saw it kind of for the first time. You technically saw it, but let's
Technically-
be real. You did not pay attention.
Technically, 2 years ago, we were all watching the MCU movies, and in typical us fashion, we tried to put way too much on our plate and watch these movies too, the extended versions.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it was too much. It was too much for my feeble little soul. So I enjoyed them. I could tell they were good movies, but it was like watching them in like 2 separate sittings, like extended cuts, all that stuff. It was.
It needs to be a cinematic experiment.
I was sleepy.
Experiment.
Experiment.
Experience for
Yeah.
this movie.
Yeah, no, this
So
is
I'm
100% was the better way to see this.
So I will say, you know what? Let's just start with you, Matt. You go ahead and tell us how you felt about it because
Dude,
this is what's most important to us right now.
I feel like I have been on a journey on a journey
There we
that
go.
I sat
Hell
there for
yeah.
3 hours. I felt like I was walking right there with them. Thought I was all the pain they felt. I felt it too. I was like, no, like straight up, like this movie's amazing. Like everybody always says, Lord of the Rings so good, Fellowship of the Ring so good. Like I see it now. I joke like this whole time, like I'm not watching these movies. They're not that good, but like, I mean, it got me. Like I think I would have liked it even just watching it at home, but I think seeing it in IMAX like this really is like the perfect way to experience a movie like this. Like oh my god.
No, I totally feel
Oh my
that.
god! And
Even
I,
though
I don't know anyone's name. I don't know, like you know what I mean. Like I forget everything. There's so much going on there. I feel like I'm the least qualified person to talk about this, but just finally sitting down and watching it all the way through. Like I thought it was incredible. I think it absolutely holds up and stands the test of time to somebody that's never really actually experienced this. Like wow,
hell yes.
wow.
Hell yes. Such beautiful things you're saying. How'd you feel, Ohms? Seeing it again.
In all my years, I never thought I'd be seeing this movie again in theaters in IMAX with you guys. Like I would have never imagined. That's why when the as soon as I saw the tweet, I lost my shit. I freaked out. I was at work. I literally retweeted it. I copied it. I sent it to them in the group, all caps. I was like, guys, this is literally the only thing I'm gonna ask for the rest of the year. Just like, let's go see this movie. And I was so excited. It was such an experience. Like the last 20 minutes of that movie always hit me. Like I'm always speechless. Like last night when we saw it, I was just like fucking just mind blown, just like experiencing like the whole journey all over again in IMAX. And obviously, if you guys had no idea, we obviously like we're gonna be talking about the next two movies too. And since I think since we're doing it on a weekly basis, maybe like
Hmm.
after we watch the third, we could like rank them and see what Matthew thought too,
Oh
just of
hell
the
yeah. I'm so
whole
like
trilogy.
put
That'd
them
be
in
that'd be pretty fun.
because I feel like my order I've always had them in is not what most people do because I'm not even gonna say which one I like the most or I say I like the most, but most
I
people who've
think I
seen
know,
these
but yeah.
movies would know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying, and
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
I'm excited to see if that changes because even though I watched these movies probably a couple years ago, I used to watch them a ton in high school because like one of my best friends loved them, so we would legit like bring her mattress into the living room and just like sit there all day and watch all three. And it
That
was
sounds fun.
beautiful. And I love those movies so much. But yeah, I completely feel like seeing it in IMAX these movies were meant to be in IMAX, like
Yeah.
meant to be. They're
I mean,
so
dude, it's three
grand and
hours, but
beautiful. Oh
exactly.
God, poor
So
Omar. He
fucking
texted
pretty.
us and he was like, "All right, I'm coming, but I might be a little late because I've been sitting in front of a computer for 8 hours at work, so I don't know if I can sit in these seats for 3 hours." And I'm
Dude,
like,
my
"Yeah,
fucking
no, I
my
totally get
back
that."
broke. I stood up like twice or three times throughout the movie, and like I think Tyler kept thinking like, "What the fuck's going on?" And I like extend back, and he fucking just hear cracks.
People
But
around
dude,
you
it
start getting
was,
like nervous. They're like, "Okay,
bro,
what's this guy doing?"
it was fucking worth it though, man. Just seeing this movie in IMAX, holy shit!
I was
Like
gonna
the
say
fact that, dude, it came out in 2001.
Oh
Movie
God, it
yeah.
came out
so
in
holds up.
2001. I
I
just
know.
Well, and that's
holy
it's
fuck.
clearly like that's the advantage if when you were making movies even 20 years ago, if you shot these like on film, which I think this was, but like the resolution and stuff to upgrade it to 4K, like it actually looks good. Like it's not like one of these like post processing bullshit. Like this movie
Right.
legitimately like the scenes that are like clearly like had no like CGI or anything in them, like they just straight up look stunning. They look like they were filmed like yesterday. And it's just
Hmm.
it's crazy. Like I love when
God.
they do these 4K releases of movies where like the director actually gave a shit because you could just tell. You could just
Oh
tell the way
God,
they're
and
making
he
this movie.
definitely did with these movies.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
So much effort went into them. Okay, well, let's just dive into it because I want to talk about so much that happens in this movie with y'all. And all the cool stuff. Starting with, I'll go ahead and start with the Shire. All the cute little houses and stuff. Matt literally turned to me and he's like, I want to live here. And I was like, I do too. Because it seems so peaceful and comfortable, and I can just walk around barefoot all the time, even though I don't have
It reminds me
hobbit
of the
feet. But
Smurfs, like fucking little
I
shrooms,
guess,
just like
yeah, I could see that.
Dude,
I was never a huge fan of the Smurfs, but I can understand why you'd say that.
straight up, I would live anywhere in this movie. Like I would live in the Shire. I would live in that fucking tomb that
the
they thought was the
mine.
mines.
Yeah, the
Like
tomb. Yeah.
Okay, let's like calm down.
I would
All right.
snuggle up with that squid creature. Like just everything in this movie is so cool. Like they really do make Middle Earth just like a place where like I don't know, you're just interested in everything. Like, I want to know everything about everybody, and I get
Well, it
that every
created this world so perfectly.
yeah, and I know that like most people have been feeling these things for years, and it's like me, like I've
You're just
already
experiencing it.
yeah, but like to think like because I love like Game of Thrones and stuff, and I think that most people when they were watching that had already kind of experienced this and could see where it was drawing from.
Right.
It's like yeah, to like go back and see this now, it's like yeah, like so much from it. Like George R. R. Martin obviously like cared about like just Tolkien, but then like these movies too, and then Omar will know this, but like we've been playing Demon Souls, and it's like even those games like clearly draw so much from this too, like
I
that
was thinking about
world.
it the entire time, dude. Just
Yeah,
fucking dragging me down.
it's just like
That's
all
what's
the
so
like
beautiful about
weirdness.
these movies, though.
Yeah.
Like they like paved the way for people to actually be interested in worlds like this. Because I feel
Mhm.
like that's hard to make compelling. There's a lot of like exposition, and there's a lot of people talking in like different languages, like the Elvish or whatever it's called, like Elvish. I don't know which one it would be called,
11.
Who
but
knows? It's probably both.
either way, it's so beautiful. And I love like how much in the beginning of the movie they like make you just automatically fall in love with Gandalf because it's hard not to anyway.
Oh, dude,
But
he's so
like
fucking good.
everyone's just so excited to see him, and I think it's so adorable. I love it. The
Y'all
beginning of this
remember when
movie
he
is so
first?
happy.
I was really
Y'all
sad
remember
when
when
he
he
died.
first like walks into the house? Whoa, spoiler! Y'all remember when he first
Oh,
walks
yeah.
into the house, and he turns and like hits his fucking head on the
Yeah.
beam?
Oh yeah,
That was not part of the
I
movie. It
love
actually
goofy shit
happened.
like that
Oh,
though.
really?
Trivia.
Oh really?
Fun facts for you
Oh,
guys. Yeah, it was
shit.
so good that he
Damn.
kept it in. Yeah, just
I
dropping
mean,
facts
it's
on you
kind of
guys.
perfect.
Goofy shit like
Yeah,
that works though, so I dig
I
it.
know. No, it does.
But I like I don't know, it's just so much about these characters that I feel have such personality that I feel like I don't even know how to explain it. It's just one of those things, and I'm going to say something controversial,
Say it.
but I know y'all already know this about me. Not that I don't like Harry Potter, because I do like Harry Potter, but people often compare the Lord of the Rings trilogy and Harry Potter. And I've always said I think Lord of the Rings is better than Harry Potter, and everyone always crucifies me. Whatever.
I was gonna
But
say that you
it's
every time we talk
I
about this,
also
I don't think that that's actually like. Do people really think that the Harry Potter movies are like better than these?
yeah, I think
'Cause-
so.
A,
Or
a lot of
most
people
people I've
compare them. A
talked
lot of
to,
people
but
compare
that's the
them.
problem. A lot of people compare them, and I was honestly talking to my brother last night, and I was like, I don't even get why people compare these movies because they're so different. Like the scales of them are
Um,
so like
I,
I
one is
think I
so
think
much
it's
more
just a lot of
grand
people
than
are
the
more
other.
attached to the world of Harry Potter, just haven't read the books and everything. Because like Lord of the
Right.
Rings, most people
But the
haven't like
Lord of the Rings books are amazing.
most people have not read those books though. If you think about it,
I
right?
feel like
Kids growing up,
a good lot
no,
of
no, no.
people
But
have
kids
though.
growing up like in
Yeah, it's not
school,
supposed
that's
to be
not
like
the
a
books we
kid
were.
thing.
Right,
Right,
yeah, like
right.
right.
Harry Potter.
So yeah,
The Harry Potter
That's more
books
what I
were for
mean. Like I
kids.
don't think they should really be
yes. So
compared.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I've always felt that way about them. I think these
right.
movies, the acting and the storytelling is just like on such a grand scale. I don't know. I just have always I told y'all it was gonna be controversial. So
I mean, not really. I mean, I agree with you. I think it's more I'd say more epic. Even though like Harry Potter obviously has those epic scenes or like those epic plots, at some point. But then again, it's not really fair to compare because it's 8 fucking movies
right, but that's what I'm
that you're
saying. It's
comparing.
like 3 movies to 8, and it still is just as grand, if not more
Right. No,
grand.
I agree. I agree. I absolutely agree. And I mean, dude, yesterday, like, if if you're watching a 3 hour movie, your mind's gonna drift multiple times, right? So mine kept fucking drifting and thinking, wait, so this came in 2000, like this came out in 2001. I was just thinking about everything that came out, not only in 2001, but since then. And they really haven't had anything this epic or this grand on that scale in a while, if ever, except obviously like the MCU movies. But those are
I feel like
fucking what,
Star
20
Wars would
something.
be the only like the new Star Wars trilogy is the only thing that you could compare as being in such a grand scale. And granted, they weren't as like critically received as well, but
Right, right.
they definitely are as big. But that's like the only thing since 2001, I feel, that has been
Right,
Guys,
on like that
right.
level.
guys, you guys are
Yeah.
totally discrediting and forgetting about the Hobbit movies too. That came
Oh
out.
my god.
Mm-mm. I'm not. I was waiting to talk about that later. I'm not. No,
right,
absolutely
You're
let's-
not.
right. We're getting sidetracked. We're getting sidetracked. So, what did you think about the whole like all of the stuff explaining the ring, Matt? I want to hear this from your point of view.
All the stuff.
Because I
What explaining the ring?
like explaining everything with the ring, because the whole like first 10 minutes of the movie is just pretty much explaining what the ring does.
Oh yeah, I loved that. I loved like the whole like you mean like narrating like how it was created and then
Well,
how
yeah,
like
and
it
like
corrupts
how serious
man.
it was taken and like how crazy Gandalf was acting when he was around. Like all of that stuff.
Yeah, I feel like that does such a good job of like setting up why it's so important that they go on this journey, right? Like it's like dedicating the first 10 minutes of the movie to that is kind of genius, which I'm assuming the book does that too, but like showing how it corrupted even like what's the name of the knight war like Aragon's great ancestor or whatever that had the ring and it fucked with him. I don't remember his name, but you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I
it
forget.
showed him like being corrupted or whatnot. And then like as it gets passed down and it was like, underneath the water for a bit. And then even Gollum getting it. Like I feel like it just shows how easily it corrupts people. And
Yeah.
so it's like, yeah, what you said. Then you even see Gandalf kind of going crazy with it. And it like from that point on you kind of like realize like why it's so important that they do this. And as the movie goes on too, you see that like Frodo is like clearly the only person that can like hold on to this thing. And even though I slightly remember how things start to go, even though we're not gonna get into spoilers for other movies, but like
Yeah.
it's like even for it to like slightly corrupt him, I guess, and you see like little bits of just it fucking with him, like it's yeah, I love the whole explanation of the ring.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you do because I feel like when I was watching, I was like, man, it can either like be people can either really love this or be like, man, this is like super complicated, like really early on. But I'm glad you didn't think that
Yeah,
because
I mean
I think
obvious.
either I totally get why people think that, but I don't know. I love when things are convoluted. I'll say that to the end of the days. So
Obviously, it's
Well,
like it's a lot of like exposition at the beginning of the movie. Like it definitely like I even noticed that. I was like, man, they've just been narrating stuff for the first 10 minutes of this movie. This is what it's gonna be like. But
yeah.
like how it's one of those things where like how else would you do it? And like you kind of have to know the stakes going into it, right? So yeah, I don't know. I thought
yeah. That's
you
the
know
thing. I obviously love these movies like growing up, but I appreciate it a lot more like watching it yesterday. And this is gonna go back to what you were saying about comparing it to Harry Potter. I think Harry Potter was always just like simpler to
Yeah.
understand, just even watching the movies, not even having read the books. Whereas, yeah, this like as a kid, yesterday I kept thinking, "Holy shit, this went over my head." You know, there was just so many things. Like, yeah, like even the first like 5 minutes, I could just imagine as a kid watching this. I'm like, "Oh, this ring looks so pretty," not understanding what the fuck's going on. But
they all
so
just want
yeah,
the
no, I mean,
ring.
I agree.
I can say
Right, right.
I like didn't even realize how I guess I haven't seen this in like longer than I thought, but I didn't realize how long it took to get like the team together. Like the team of all of them. I was like, "Oh, like it's halfway through the movie." like
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
I neither. Yeah,
If
I thought it was
you
I
like in
like
the first fucking
if
20 minutes or so.
I thought so too.
if you watch the extended versions, it's literally the first movie. They don't even get
I need to
together.
watch this, man.
you
You said it's
do,
4 hours, the extended.
but
Yeah, it's like two-ish hour like
aren't they
movies.
broken up? Yeah, it's like broken up into two movies
Oh.
pretty much. So like it's a commitment.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
the first one literally ends with them getting to whatever elf town, where they all meet up
Oh,
and
okay, 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 okay. So it's
and
not that much longer.
no, I think it is a good. I think it's like an hour longer.
Yeah, an hour longer. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I thought it was like a lot longer. Okay.
Oh no, but
It's still when you think about it though, it's like 4 hours is it's
Of
a
your
I
life.
mean, Zack Snyder's about to do it for all of us. So
Yeah.
it's one of those things where like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to block out like an entire chunk of my day to
Mhm,
do this.
mhm.
Worth it for this movie. Hopefully worth it for Zack Snyder, but that'll be something we talk about another time. Um but yeah, I think all the stuff with like Mary and Pippin and Sam, I like love all of their chemistry together. I think it's great. And it's so
I do
enjoyable to
too.
watch them because everybody always like makes fun of Sam and Frodo's like relationship, but I'm like, this is like the most innocent, pure version of a friendship, and I
Our
love
fucking
that.
friend yesterday at Target made fun of it.
Wait,
who?
Remember
really?
when we were Tyler, dude? He
I
was
thought
saying
Tyler liked that.
no, no, no. Okay, he did, but he was saying me and Matthew remind him of Sam and
Oh,
Frodo, or like he probably thought that's how
Oh
we were in high
no,
school.
hundred
Because
percent. I
like
totally see that.
there was like this one time where I was like leaving the country and things got emotional, but yeah.
I got
I
So
sad, man.
totally see it. I
uh,
literally would have like during the movie I was thinking that.
It
Eh,
almost that's the thing. I'd like to think that in my brain, when Omar was leaving to go to Egypt in high school, I was viewing it as if I'd already seen this movie. and it was, you know what I mean? Like it weighed
Inspiration.
on my shoulders just as much.
Not an
Jeez.
emotional man. Nothing wrong with it, you know?
Yeah.
No.
Show the love, I think. But I don't know. There's something about Sam and Frodo that I'm glad. It's like you want to follow them till the end of the
Right.
earth. You
All the
know?
Right.
characters, right? Like that's like holy shit. The
God, I
Fellowship of
know.
the Ring is what, 9 people? Like
Mhm.
9 people, and like all of them are like fleshed out characters that like
Oh
I
my
don't
god.
know. They're just
Vigo
all lovable.
is such a beautiful man and human being in this movie. I love him so much. Like it's just everything about him is like literally what I think that's like how they got the character of Jon Snow. It's like they looked at his character and they're like, how can we make this in a TV version where everybody just loves him and it's just like this person
Mhm.
that feels like they can do no wrong kind of thing. And that's literally
Mhm.
what you get from Aragon. And I love it. He's so
He kept
likable.
he kept reminding me of Andrew Lincoln from The Walking Dead. I mean, just like the way he looks though, not anything
Really? I
else.
didn't
I mean,
see
it
that.
I don't even
kind
know
of.
who that is,
I don't know.
He's the
but
main guy from Walking Dead.
Rick, I think that's his name. I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
even
it's
watch
Norman
the
Rick.
fucking
Reedus?
show. To be honest. That's
No.
that guy. Fucking no. What was I gonna say, dude? Quick fun fact for you guys, since we're talking about the cast or the characters. Orlando Bloom was cast for this movie 2 days prior to finishing drama school. Like he hadn't even graduated yet, and they cast him in this fucking epicness of a movie, and that's fucking
What
wild. Just
what a lucky
imagine
fella.
not finishing. I know, dude. Just imagine that. I'm not sure if this was his first role or not.
I
I
was
mean,
about to
I
say, is
imagine not, but
this
just imagine.
this must have been what put him on the map then.
Oh, probably
I
so.
think
I
this
mean, yeah. I
movie
mean,
put a lot of them on the map because
sure, yeah, yeah.
I don't think Sean Astin or his name is escaping me.
Elijah Wood?
Elijah Wood. Actually, Elijah Wood I think was a child star, so he might have done something before this, but I think this was like the big like moment for a lot of them.
Mhm. Yeah,
So,
dude. It's
I
fucking
mean,
crazy, man.
it I feel like when they were going to the what's it called? The bar or wherever they were, the inn that they were going to, and that's when they meet Aragon. Wait, what is it? What were they calling him before? It's Aragon Striker, maybe.
Yeah, Striker.
Okay, which is awesome. So cool. It's like that's not even his real name, and he still picks a cool name.
That
I
first
love that.
that first shot of Aragon just sitting at the bar looking at them is so fucking cool. So fucking cool.
I feel
Oh,
like too you start really seeing what's happening with like the story, like where it's going, where like all of a sudden you see these like three very tiny hobbits walking through this giant world and it's like you start getting the feeling of oh, they like never left the Shire and now they're going out in the real world
Hmm.
and they have these terrible horse demon men chasing after them and
what are they
I
called? Ring wraiths? Those things are fucking
yeah,
cool.
aren't
Bro,
they?
those
It's
things scared the fuck out of me
Dude,
as a
I
kid,
will
man.
say when we watched this like years ago and I was like dozing in and out of sleep and just kind of like whatever about this movie, like that shot, and honestly, I think that in the extended version you get like this much crazier like first shot of them running maybe,
you
because
do.
I was waiting for that to happen in this and it didn't. And I was like, oh, that's a bummer, because that was like by far and away my favorite thing when we watched these like forever ago, the extended ones. I
Hmm.
was like, that was when I like perked up and I was like, oh, holy shit, this movie.
See,
But yeah, those are so cool.
I always think it's cool when they show the part where he finally sees them. Like he puts the ring on, and so he sees what they look like under the cloak or whatever
Yeah.
they're wearing. And you see it's just like these like skeletal men. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like what they
Skeletal
used to
men.
be. I don't
Yeah,
know
yeah,
what to call them. I always thought that was cool because they creeped me out kind of. But I was just amazed by the fact that it was real men under there because I think when I was a kid I didn't understand that was I thought it was just like these demon things. I didn't think it was
yeah.
the
So-
kings of the past kind of thing.
uh,
So now I'm really focused and appreciative on I get what they're doing too. You know, they can't help it. They have this connection to the ring. It's
Yeah.
They're
not
not
their
dead.
fault.
They're not
100%.
alive.
I
They're
mean, it's their fault, but like they can't control it. Yeah, they're neither dead nor alive. What else are you gonna do
You
when
know what
you
I thought
can't
was
do anything
creepy?
else?
I thought when Gandalf was fighting Count Dooku, whatever his fucking name is,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
he like
Saruman.
yes, and he like pins him to the ground with his head, and then he just starts spinning him, and Gandalf's
Yes,
like,
dude.
When
I
he's
completely forgot
just
about that.
spinning in circles, Matt, and my brother like couldn't stop laughing at that
I was
part.
like,
I
It
completely
looks
forgot
it
about
looks
that.
ridiculous.
And then the other thing that was really scary What's the chick that they meet towards the end?
Oh,
Oh, I know what you're
she's
talking about. Yeah.
the elf, like queen
Yes.
of the forest. Galad Galadriel or something,
When
or
she goes like
Galadriel, something like that.
Galadriel, when she goes like all green, I was like, holy
I
shit.
know, and she's like fucking screaming.
This is
Yeah.
like
You know,
giving
it's
me like
Kate
the
Blanchett.
who is that?
The villain from Ragnarok. I can't remember her name.
Oh.
And like a bunch of others. She's in a
I
ton
mean,
of things, but
I
that's
knew
the
she,
most recent thing
I knew
I
she
can
looked
think of.
familiar. I just couldn't like
Yeah, it's
I
just
didn't
her
know who
like
she
super
was.
young, but that was her. Plus you got Liv Tyler as the other elvish
God,
princess,
she was great
whatever.
too.
I love
Yeah.
her. I love that woman so much. She's so great.
I love
Um,
anybody from The Leftovers just popping up in anything.
she's a very different character in The Leftovers.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
But I do love I remember when I first started watching these movies, all the elf stuff was amazing to me. I don't know why. I just was so like in awe of the whole world they created, where they live. I think Legolas being just like the most amazing shot with an arrow, a bow and arrow. I always found that so
You're so
cool.
like graceful with it and like so smooth. Even when he's like running
He's
or
such a pretty
walking, he
boy.
just
I
he's just so fucking. Even the Hobbit, dude, loved him.
oh yeah. I love when
I need to rewatch those.
I love when they're in that little tiny room in the tomb or whatever, and the what are they? The orcs or whatever are
The
breaking
orcs,
in,
yeah.
and they're like gnawing the little holes into the door, and Legolas just has his arrow ready for the second
Yeah.
that hole is big enough for him to just fire it in there, and he just fucking like he hits two
Oh,
of them,
that's
man. I
the
was like,
thing. All the action scenes in this movie, I feel like, are so top notch, especially for a movie that was done in 2001. It's just there's so many movies that have come out recently that this already tops action wise. I love that about it. Everything is so cool. Like whenever at the end when the orcs are like finally they found them and they're chasing Frodo down and Frodo's trying to like get away to go off by
Mhm.
himself and you just have Aragorn coming in with his sword just
Dude,
by himself. Oh
oh
my gosh,
dude,
that whole part
epic man
I wanted to
it
stand up
gets
and
me every
I
time.
wanted to stand up and just
and clap.
scream. I was like,
I
yeah,
know, and
Oh,
you could tell because like the theater wasn't packed, but you could tell all the people that were there were people who love Lord of the Rings and just were
yeah.
coming to see it in IMAX because they were laughing. They
Whew.
like all laughed at the part because you know how like the meme started with Sean Bean where he says, like when
the
he's
thing about
sitting
going
at the
to
council and he has like his hand like this.
like one does
Do you
not
know what I'm talking?
simply,
Yeah,
yeah,
that whole thing. Everybody kind of laughed at that part, and I
yeah.
was just like, oh, well, I guess that makes sense. But you could tell
Fucking
everybody was
great, man.
really feeling that movie. When
I mean, dude.
I
Yeah,
miss
all eight of
theaters
us.
that do that.
Yeah,
I
no,
miss
I
I
it
know.
agree.
though.
And the fact that it was fucking, I like, dude, just the whole fact that it was IMAX, man. It was just like so. It honestly left me
Epic.
speechless. Yeah, no, epic, great, just like impressive. I keep like I can't get over like the fact that it's a 2001 movie. It looks this fucking great. It aged really well, and me as a stupid kid, it it probably looked as great seeing it in 2001. Like I probably imagined seeing it and it looking like that. But the fact that it transitioned this well to IMAX and looks this fucking good, I cannot wait for you to watch the other two, man. Especially Return of the King.
Imagine if
Yeah,
we
because
had,
that's the one he hasn't finished.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
dude,
legit don't
that's
know how it ends. So
it's
He
dude,
doesn't.
it's gonna be so fucking pretty. I can't
Little
wait.
fun
nobody's
fact for you
nobody spoil it in
guys.
the comments, but also we'd really
Comment.
like our first comment. So if you want to just, oh, I'll take it. I'll get it spoiled for me
Literally,
for that.
just a little fun fact for everyone who's listening to this. Matt watched the extended version of literally the first and second movie and half of the third movie, and then just never finished. So he has absolutely no idea
It's
how this movie
disgusting,
ends,
dude.
how
Who the
this
fuck
trilogy
watches it like
ends.
this?
He has no clue.
And then
Jesus.
waited 2 years for a pandemic and then a theatrical IMAX release.
Who would
You
have thunk
know,
it?
I think everything happens for a reason. So let's go
Yeah.
ahead and just say this was your reason to continue throughout this pandemic
I
was to
think it
get
is.
to this point.
I think this is what I was made for, guys. I was built for this.
So, I mean, that's why I'm so excited for you to see this.
I will
mean, I'm
say,
also excited for you to see all the characters' growth. There's so many
hmm
characters that grow. How did you feel about Sean Bean again dying and never being able to complete any type of role? He always dies.
it
Poor
was
thing.
it was really funny to me because I knew he died because he dies in everything.
Yeah.
But I couldn't remember if he died in this movie or not. I couldn't remember if it was this or if it was Two Towers. And when we get to like when they make it out of that whole kind of like tomb area in the mines, I'm like, oh, I guess he finishes this movie. That's good. No, and then
He
he
does kind of.
then he started harassing Frodo, and I'm glad he died a hero though. But Jesus,
Yeah. One
But
arrow, two arrows.
yeah,
that gets me every time though, because you can tell he at the end is he's just a good guy. He
he
just
is.
kind of lost his way for a second, but then he went and sacrificed himself for Merry and Pippin, even though they got taken anyway. But
Well,
it's just I don't know. That's like the most hero way to die when you're the one that everyone likes the least.
and
So
and that's
I
why I
enjoyed it.
think going back what we were talking about earlier with the beginning of the movie and all the explanation of the ring, like that's another reason why that's so needed, right? Is to know that
Oh yeah.
him almost succumbing to it at this moment is just like this is what the ring is. This is what it does to everybody. At least it seems like, except for Frodo. Like they're
Well,
all
just
weak.
you wait
Like
and see, my friend.
oh boy, I'm ready to wait and see, man. But you know what I mean? Like
Hey,
just like man is weak. Like he's just another one of us that in like that close to it, and knowing that the ring could like help his people and like actually serve a purpose, and logically rationalizing like why don't we have this, why can't I do it, like it makes sense. And to see him for that moment be weak and then to still die a hero, like yeah, his character is fucking awesome. Like what a way to go out. 3 arrows to the
No, I
chest, man.
100% agree. And I love the conversation he has too at the end with him, where he pretty much like acknowledges him as his king. And
oh,
I
it's
mean,
so
dude,
beautiful.
it's so beautiful, and it's just like so
My
like
king.
impactful, and just fucking it really do like it makes a grown man cry, man. Because I remember like soon as after the movie ended, and Tyler, our friend, he was sitting right next to me. He kept sniffling, and I'm thinking like this dude either has COVID or this scene is really fucking hitting him. And afterwards, him and I just sat there for like a good 5 seconds, didn't say a single word, And he goes like, "Man, that scene always gets me." I was like, "Dude, I fucking know, man.
It is. It's
So
so
good."
you have that scene, which is so amazing. And Vigo, again, like I'll say, I would follow that man to the ends of the earth, even now. He's
I
so
would too.
beautiful and great. He's such a great actor. He also just seems like in real life, he might be the coolest human that you would ever meet. Like, he just seems like he'd just be walking around with like a scotch and a cigar all the time. And I like really respect that.
He's not American, right?
No, I don't know where he's from though.
I don't think I've ever
I
seen him
can't
in anything else, if
remember.
I'm being honest with you.
He was in
Hmm.
Green Book most recently,
He's an
which
American
Green Book's a
Danish
great movie
actor.
too. Danish. I knew it
Yeah.
was something. I wanted to say Irish, but I
Same
wasn't
thing.
sure.
Close,
Um,
close enough.
God,
but
he's
I
he's
love that you.
62 years old. How old was he in this movie? Was
20
he
years
40
back.
years old?
I'm gonna go with probably.
Jesus.
Wow, he looks way younger than that. I
Yeah,
He
he
didn't
does.
does.
realize that. I will say too, I love that they ended like they don't end on that note with Aragon and the Fellowship and everything. It always ends with them. I love when it ends when he's like, "Let's go hunt some orcs." I'm like, oh,
Yeah, dude, I love that.
come on, dude, let's go. This is
So
great.
explain to me, because it slightly went over my head, but at the end of the movie, when they're basically deciding to let Frodo go on his own, like not the very
Yep.
end, obviously, because then things change a little bit, but the decision to let him go out on his own, is that just because the orcs were converging in on them and they wanted to be a distraction? Like why did they give up on like the whole Fellowship of the Ring, like journeying
So
together?
you'll see going throughout the rest of the two movies. So I won't say too much, but I will say it had more to do with how sometimes the power of the ring is too strong for any man or anyone that's around it. So it was like this is Frodo's like given journey. He is the only one that can take this ring and stay strong enough or try to stay strong enough to not let it corrupt him. So in order and especially same with how what happened with Boromir, I think that was a lot of what had to push it to where Frodo was like, I have to do this on my own. And that's when Aragorn, being like the great man he is, it's just like, you know what, you're right. You should go do this. Two little tiny hobbits. Y'all can definitely make it by
Two
yourselves.
little
I
tiny
know you
hobbits.
can.
Th-
um but
That's
yeah,
why
so it has more to do with the power of the ring and less to do with the orcs, but the orcs coming at that time definitely it just made it to where it was a distraction for them to get away kind of thing. So plus the whole lighting up blue sword thing, cool. So I always thought that was cool.
Yeah, same.
That was
I
really
I
cool.
agree.
kind So yeah,
Two
that's more
quick
what I get
things.
out of it.
First of all, I didn't fucking know these movies. All three came out a year apart.
Yeah,
That's
isn't that
crazy.
crazy?
Holy shit, I didn't know
Dude,
that
I
either.
did. I mean, I had no idea. As a kid, time to me was like a fucking illusion. I guess I
That
don't
means
know,
they must have just
but
been filming for like 3 years straight,
they
just
probably
not
filmed
doing
them back to
anything
back. I
else.
imagine.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I'm
because I mean, dude, these
assuming.
movies. I mean, you can't just fucking say, okay, we're filming this for 3 months. It's coming out at the end of the year. I mean, this takes like a lot of work, a lot of production,
Oh
a
yeah.
lot of post production. That was the first thing. The second thing is, do you guys want to take a wild guess at the Rotten Tomato score? Audience.
Ooh.
I think I might have already seen it, so I don't know if I should. Oh, you know what? I didn't see the audience. I think I saw the critic one. But
Which one
I
do you
would
guys think
say
is higher?
I'd
The
say that ooh, I think they're tied.
got
I
Okay.
it.
want to say
Yeah,
I
for
want to say
me,
the critics, but I mean this movie won like an Oscar. So,
I was gonna say I would think they're gonna be both really really high. I guess I would think the audience score might be slightly higher, but that's my guess. But I expect both of them.
watch it be something crazy like the audience
They
score is
must
like a
both be
2.
in the upper 90s.
You won a prize, my kind sir. You get to see the next two movies in IMAX, baby. No,
And does that
yeah.
mean I don't does that mean I'm shunned from this?
Bailey
The
has to watch them on
audience.
regular Netflix.
Oh,
Great.
hate to see it. The audience was a 95. Critic was
Oh,
a
okay.
91.
There you go.
91. Okay.
Yep, which
I
I've
was
actually never
close.
seen. I mean, you were. I've never seen the scores for any of these movies except The Hobbit. Because I guess that's around the time where I was like, I really cared about scores. So yeah, I've
Mhm.
never seen the scores for Lord of the Rings. So I'm gonna keep it a little
That's like
surprise for all of
the
us.
Hobbit movies is like one of the first times I hung out with Matt. We all went to see
Really?
it, and our
When
friend
did those come out?
Corey had a sticker on
2013.
his pants the whole time, and
He
then we
did.
finally told him at the end. Um, but that was one of the first times we hung out. The first time was actually at this Halloween party where we went to this guy who was handing out test tube shots to everyone. Uh,
I
but
remember
other than
those.
that,
Wow,
the other
what a way
good
to meet.
part was going to see The Hobbit.
Yeah. It's just funny too because I get that the Hobbit movies aren't as held in the same regard, and it's hard to even speak on them because I haven't seen them since they were in theaters. But yeah, I mean, it almost just seems like they were trying to recreate this magic in a way of like even having three movies again, and I mean, it's like this big epic thing, you know. So
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm curious and excited once we finish these two. Like I do want to go and watch those and kind of compare them,
I actually do
and see where
too.
they went wrong because I
Because
know
I
I really want
apparently
to
wasn't
they
watch
did.
the extended edition.
Yeah, I'll say I wasn't a huge. I mean, I liked the Hobbit movies when they came out. I wasn't a huge fan. I do love though how in the beginning of this movie they talk so much about what the Hobbit is about. It's
Yeah,
just,
yeah, yeah.
and then also the actor's name escapes me, but the one that plays the Hobbit or plays
in
Bilbo.
the
I mean, who
in
was
the
also
Hobbit
in
movies.
Fargo.
Oh,
Yeah,
Martin
the guy
Yes.
Freeman.
from MCU.
Martin
Yeah.
Freeman. There we go. And Sherlock. I was like, I know all these shows with him in it. And I
This
can't think of
guy's
his
in
name.
there somewhere.
I think he was really good casting too. I think he plays Bilbo really well. So I feel like I need to go
He
rewatch
does.
those. So I
He
probably will after we watch all these movies.
Look, that trilogy has a lot of good casts, a lot of good actors in it. Aiden
Just a
Turner
lot of
from
really bad CGI.
Is it bad though?
uh,
That's what
I guess
I
it's
everybody
wouldn't
not
say
bad.
it
says.
was bad.
I
That's
think
why I'm
it's too
excited to
much
rewatch it.
CGI.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
think that's the thing. Like
It was, no, I agree with that.
I feel like
Yeah.
there's just so much CGI in it that I
That
feel
and the
like with
fights,
how
a lot of the
much
fights.
Oh, I can't even remember the fights. All I remember is the
Fights, a lot of
stupid
them were like
barrel
3D.
scene where they're like in barrels going down a river.
Yeah.
That's all I remember from
that's
that
why
movie.
It
that's
was
why
goofy, I'll say that.
that's
But
why
I
I'm
like Goofy.
excited to rewatch those because I feel like the narrative that I always hear about these movies is that people compare them to the Star Wars like prequels and then like the original trilogy and that like there's so much practical in the good ones and that's true but and then the prequel trilogy for Star Wars and then the Hobbits for these is like too much CGI. So I kind of want to see that because I will say like this movie did have like it had CGI in it like more than the
Oh, yeah.
prequels or the original trilogy for Star Wars obviously and like the CGI looks good. I mean you could tell it's older CGI though. So like that's
You
why
can.
I'm curious to go back and watch those because I guess the difference would be if like all the kind of like big vast shots we get in these where it's like clearly real stuff like if that's kind of toned down and they CGI'd all that stuff I see why that is like
Yeah, a
that
problem.
sucks. You know what I mean? So
Well,
Yeah.
I will say I do think remembering, not that we need to even talk about The Hobbit right now, but just remembering The Hobbit, I
Little
think there
preview.
was a a part of me that thought the movie wasn't as pretty, and I adore how pretty these movies are, like all the landscape and everything you get to see. I feel like no movies do stuff like that anymore because they don't have to because technology's so good, but back then you had to go to these sets and like make these grand wide shots,
Yeah.
like panoramic shots of these mountains. It's just so pretty, and I just want to like live somewhere with mountains and not in Louisiana.
I
Somewhere where you can like have seasons change, you know?
I know. I feel like getting older, if you're living in like a place like this, you're just more like respected and it's like fun getting older. Whereas like here, we're just like, fuck, I'm getting old. But you know what I mean? Like I would love to be Gandalf. You know what I mean? I would give a fuck. I'm old.
I
Um,
mean, yeah, and Bilbo gets a freaking giant ass party thrown for him, turning 111.
goodbye. So
Yeah,
that-
what
um,
a clever little dude.
no,
I
going
love that part.
going off of what you said too, like Bailey leaned over to me when they were like kind of like towards the beginning of the movie and you're seeing all the stuff in the Shire and she's like, you can just go here. And then like as they start journeying out, she's like, yeah, like you get to like take the whole path and stuff. And I was
Yeah,
like, what?
they
Like
have
we
like
need
a
to do
whole
that.
path you can go on. Like you can walk the
Oh
path
yeah,
that
I
they
knew
walk.
that.
If
Which I would love
Hmm.
to do that one day. I don't have a passport yet.
Isn't that in New
Because I'm
Zealand?
uncultured.
yes,
But yes.
and
Yeah.
because COVID,
You
we
can use
shouldn't
your
travel
ID, right?
anyway. But
I can just
Yeah.
travel with my ID and
Oh,
not
actually,
a
I think New
passport.
Zealand is one of the countries that's like not allowing people in. I think
Well,
currently
frick.
right now because of the new strain.
well, hey, if COVID goes away and if this podcast actually ends up being successful, maybe we could take a little trip.
I actually say let's agree right now on our 111th birthdays. We decide we're like we're gonna do this. We're going. We're gonna have this last big shebang, a bunch of fireworks in the background, just as like it was for him. Go walk around, and then we just settle and rest in the Shire.
I mean, yeah, a lot of us are not gonna come back
And
from that
die.
trip. Probably fucking die on that
Yeah,
walk.
no. I think
That
it'll be
111.
beautiful. It'll be a beautiful
Yeah.
statement for what our lives have been.
I like to think that
Yes.
the three of us start off that walk together and we each get to very different places and we're just like, no,
we just
no,
leave
go
each other's bodies.
go without me. I'm
like
This-
slowly somebody's just passing out as we go, and we're just like, all right,
It's like this-
I'm gonna keep going.
This is where I want to die. You guys keep going. I'm good
and we
here.
just respect it. We're like, you know what? It's a good place.
Jesus,
It looks
dude.
comfortable.
Pretty fucking funny thinking about it, honestly. Just imagining that like unfolding.
Yeah. So I don't know. I can't wait till we continue this saga that we're gonna be going on.
Dude,
This little journey, because it
yes.
is a journey for sure.
Yeah, so we're seeing these in theaters.
Yes.
Thankfully the theaters aren't that crowded around here and we're being safe and everything. But so they're playing one a week. And so we're seeing them in IMAX and so we're going to review them right after we see them and post them. They'll probably go up
Oh yeah.
on Tuesdays
Yeah.
or Wednesdays. Well, I guess we'll see, but yeah, we'll be doing one, we're doing the
Around
other
then.
two the next 2 weeks. So
And we're looking so freaking forward to it. But yeah, so I think right now we can't even really rate this against the other three, but I will say number one for me.
This is my number one.
Uno.
Wow.
Numero uno.
I
So
feel
far,
confident
it's my
saying
number
that.
one,
It's my number
yes.
one.
Great.
Oh yeah, so far.
Awesome.
I don't know. We have to see.
I feel like I know which one you're gonna end up liking the most, but we'll save that. We'll save it, fellas,
Ooh.
ladies and gents. But yeah, so I feel like this kind of wraps up our little discussion. If you have any comments, questions, you want to say anything that we were saying was completely wrong, please feel free.
I
to.
always-
we are so okay with criticism.
I was gonna say I always feel weird talking about movies that are like super beloved. And like
oh yeah, because there's so many people out there that know more than we do.
well, like first of all, like three of us like we're like new to this, like podcasting, obviously, but then like also talk about movies that are super loved that like at least I obviously know hardly anything about this. And even you guys, like y'all have seen these before, but I know people like study Lord of the Rings for like a fucking like their living. So I always feel weird because I'm sure I'm saying all these names wrong and talking about all these wrong things and you know what I mean? I feel like everything I say I'm probably wrong about this, but
Don't
God, I
even
fucking
Well,
I
hey,
fucking
let
look,
it.
if you think about it, we're not here to review movies. We're not here to talk about movies. We're just here talking about our experiences watching these movies. And
You know what? If I
everyone
think I
has their
saw something in
experiences.
this movie, I saw it. So
You saw it.
leave me
yeah.
alone.
There you go.
Not saying y'all definitely should comment and tell us when we're wrong, because we
Oh
love
yeah, no,
construction
definitely
Just-
do that.
constructive criticism. I can't speak today.
Like I said,
Um,
somebody just comment. Somebody just put a comment on there,
we'll
please.
literally take anything. But yeah, so you can do that. But also while you're doing that, please like and subscribe to anything that we're doing, whether it's on some type of podcasting service or YouTube, because we would super appreciate that.
Or all of them.
Anything that you can, do it, but we have been enjoying doing this so much with you guys. So just a little heads up, we're also going to be posting our little things,
We're about to,
it's
we're
called, I keep thinking it's not called that. Our little things discussion. It's
We're
going to
doing
be
a-
happening too.
we're doing a double header. So like right after we finish this one, I imagine I'm gonna pee, grab some water, and we're about to sit down and
So that'll be
talk
posted.
the little things.
Make sure you listen to that. But of course, as always, we got Thursday. We're coming out with Promising Young Woman. Super excited about that. We're going to be discussing that. And then Fridays, it's WandaVision. Dun, 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 dun,
You know it.
Wanda, or something like that. So yeah, but come back and listen to this. And don't forget to
If-
press play again.